Fuck it, Lee. What's the story?
What's up, dog?
Where you been, baby?
I've been with you.
You got the red shirt on and shit, matching your eyeballs. Look at you.
Oh, I know.
On fire tonight.
A few minutes away. I got my weed license finally.
I heard.
Yeah, it was the best doctor experience of my life. I found it on Yelp. I went. They had a Stallone movie playing in the waiting room, and took 5 minutes. And
which Stallone movie?
I don't remember. They're like aliens. It was a weird one. Huh? Oh God, I haven't seen it. I saw the first one, but I didn't see anything after that.
The Expendables went down hard. I thought they were going to win the box office. They had everybody in the goddamn movie. They had White's in the movie.
It's a fun action movie if you want to see that. But after like the third one,
fuck it, I'll stay home and watch Predator. Predator's just as good. You know what I'm saying? They kill a fucking people nobody sees. What happened yesterday? Went over to eat, right?
Yeah, we went and got a very nice steak. Thank you very much.
No, he watched my cats when I was gone. Listen, I hate vacations. Yeah. I hate leaving the house. I don't care if my wife leaves, the baby. I don't give a fuck. I hate leaving for 3 days. I keep thinking there's going to be an earthquake and something's going to happen to my cats.
Right.
I get really paranoid. I'm like, damn, something's going to happen. Then I'm going to feel guilty the rest of my life. My fucking animals. I left them, so I always get Lee to go at nighttime, and then the babysitter goes in the morning. And I just, it's a peace of mind for me.
Right.
Knowing that Lee goes over there. Because just Lee sits with them and pets them and fucking picks them up.
And he just got his weed card, so he can chill
yeah.
real long now.
But he hasn't got weed yet.
I still haven't bought it.
He has to go to the store still. I'm going to send him to my store up the corner there with the hot chicks with bikinis on.
Did you have to give him a reason? Did you come up with a reason?
It actually, that's a real reason. I worked nights for 2 years, and I have the worst time going to sleep. And the 2 nights before I got the card, I was taking like NyQuil because I ran out of sleeping pills. I was like, "Fuck!" It doesn't feel good. So, yeah.
What happens to you at night? You just keep thinking.
Sometimes it's thinking, but if it's thinking, I'll like leave Sports Center on and just pass out.
That fucking Jewish mind. It's nonstop. It's thinking about sandals and pennies and fucking
But people, if you have problems with girls. Yeah, you should spend a night with Joey Diaz. Like that has to be your best. That's your next book after your first book.
Lee's very shy, and so am I. I was always very shy.
Right.
But when you see a freak, you know when she's a freak. We all have that freak thing. Like we see a chick and we're like, that chick is heavy fucking duty. So me and
Lee,
I
would never have guessed her. So let's just describe the chick.
Lee didn't fucking know. First off, they gave us the shittiest house, the shittiest table. They gave us the table by the bathrooms.
Right.
At that, where'd we go?
Morton's.
Was it Morton's?
Yeah.
Arnie Morton's. We went to Morton's. They gave us the table by the bathroom, and these women kept walking in and out, and they were all pretty good looking, but they were all like cougarish.
Right.
They were all like hot cougars.
At least 60s, right?
No, 50s, like 48.
Okay.
But there was this one cougar that had big titties, and just on her face, it's like a neon sign that said, "I want cock."
Right.
And I was talking to Lee, and we didn't know, and I must have said a lot. I go, "Look at this one here. All she needs is a couple of cognacs."
Yeah.
And she's ready to fucking go.
Well,
she heard it.
It was better because on the way in you said it, and on the way out you said it again louder.
And then she looked at me, and she kept walking, and then like 2 minutes later she came back and she goes, "I don't know if you're married or not, but this is my card." And I'm like, holy fuck, she heard it.
She didn't even ask for it.
No, you could always see when they were
Well, in a way you did.
Well, we're as a comedian, I always look at chicks and I'm like, that chick's no fucking good. I was at Calico Casino with Tom Segura, and some girl took a picture with her brother, and her tits were out and all that, and just her body movement, and I said to her, "How dirty of a freak are you?" And her and her brother left, and 10 minutes later, this girl came back.
Right.
And she's like, "How did you know?" And I go, "You got to be an idiot not to know you're a nasty fucking savage."
No, but there's girls who dress like provocatively.
She wasn't provocative.
This one wasn't like a big pink dress. That's
the ones.
Yeah.
It's not the provocative ones. Fuck those dirty animals. It's the ones that are hiding the fucking weapons.
Yeah.
Mass destruction.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the one.
Oh my god. It was amazing. It was amazing. She came over, I don't know if you're married, you had her laughing, and like she stayed for like 5 minutes just like laughing at everything you said.
And I was gonna call her and tell her I'm married, but thank you. You know, you're very nice. We were talking about my friend, how I could spot a freak, because I would have asked her.
Yeah.
And she would have said, yeah, they'll tell you the truth.
Sure.
Real animals will tell you. Fake animals will say, oh, no, whatever. But so we got Matt Fulchiron in here. My main
yeah. What's up, dude? What's up?
And the Man of Steel, Mr. Rich Franklin from Columbus, Ohio. What's happening, baby?
What's going on there, man?
I don't fucking know Rich Franklin. How'd I start? Every 2 weeks I bump into a fighter. You know that, what's his name, lives in Studio City?
Who?
The big black guy, Chuck Congo.
Jack lives up
How the fuck does Chuck Congo walk around Studio City and not get shot? Big black dude lives in
He's
Studio
huge, yeah.
fucking City. I didn't know that.
That's because he has a French accent.
That's what they love all
They're
that
like,
shit.
oh, you're safe.
Yeah.
It's amazing what a fucking neighborhood of suckers we live in for a foreign accent. Like, people are fucking looking for work every day in this town. If you're white, you'll never get a job. If you will have an English accent, Australian, walk into any agency.
You're set.
And you're set. They'll make you answer the fucking phones. But I was thinking about something. How come? I swear to God, that's the main thing.
Right.
For somebody to answer the phones with an accent, but they never have like an African motherfucker answering the phone.
Right.
You ever call like an agency? It's like, oh, I can't do an African, whatever. It's always an Australian, English, or French. Where I go to jiu-jitsu, there's a dark-skinned French dude with white hair. Mm-hmm. Every time I look at him, I just see 20 chicks sucking his dick. That's all I see. Like, he talks to me, and all I see is him, like, by a pool, and, like, chicks waiting online, like, begging to suck his dick. He's got everything that they like in Hollywood. They got the French accent, he's a yoga teacher. That's it. Yoga teacher, a little tattoo, an accent. It's all over.
Couple college philosophy classes.
Yeah, a couple college philosophy, and you hang out at a coffee shop.
Quote a book or two.
You'll have a chlamydia fucking year card, like one of those yearly chlamydia cards. What do you think, Matt Fulchiron? You sit there relaxing.
I think you're absolutely right, dude.
It's
I think
true.
an accent will take you very far.
It really is amazing.
Especially if it's out of place.
Well, Americans are very suckers for an accent. You know, I was at Justin Fortune's place the other day, and he's Australian. And you have a conversation with him, and you have a conversation with most Australians. Most likely, that dude that plays X-Man, Wolverine.
Yeah.
They over fucking do the accent for chicks. Chicks love that shit.
Jim Short, a funny comedian from Australia. His accent isn't that Australian anymore. He's been here forever, since he was a teenager.
But when
he gets on stage, when he gets on stage, that shit
works
gets
that
turned the
motherfucker.
fuck up, you know?
They love it.
Does it
Everyone
work,
loves it.
Does it work the same for us if we go overseas, though?
I don't know that it does.
No, they hate us.
Yeah.
They hate us no matter where the fuck we go.
I know that. I mean, trust me, I've been around the world enough to know that. But there's got to be a couple pockets of countries somewhere where they're like, oh, I love your accent.
Work on your Canadian accent.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe, but it works the same for girls, too. Like, a hot girl gets even hotter if she has, like, a cool accent, like an English accent.
Yeah.
Like, I forget. There's like even Penelope Cruz, like a Spanish accent, something like that. That's great.
In Blow, she had a nice
Yeah.
accent. She was calling him a fucking faggot. Remember that always? If a woman calls you a fucking faggot, you're like, fuck you, dirty bitch. But if a woman calls you a fucking faggot, it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's
fucking
elegant.
Faggot. You know?
Elegant all of a sudden.
Fuck, I'm a faggot. Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
I went to London and I saw this big black dude look like Biggie Smalls, and I got in an elevator with him, and he just busts out the English accent like, "What floor are you going to?" And I'm like, I almost started laughing.
Oh, yeah.
That's how ignorant I am. I almost started laughing at this big tough looking motherfucker with an English accent.
It's amazing.
It's like a joke.
It's amazing when you see somebody and you think you
Preconceived
think
notion
of what they're gonna sound like.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, you really want to see the real deal? Next time you're in New York City, go to 77th and Broadway. You go to a Cuban restaurant called La Calidad. It's a Chinese Cuban restaurant. You've never seen that before in your life.
What do they sound like?
Me talking Spanish. Real fast. Oye, un arroz frito especial con papa madura. Dale esto un cafecito. And you're sitting there going, what the fuck is that Chinese guy talking about? And he's yelling in Cuban, yelling. It was Cuba had the biggest Chinatown for a long time.
Right.
And to like 1968, Cuba had the biggest China. In fact, Fidel don't fuck with them. But some of those Cubans came over and opened up Chinese restaurants, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, there was like Campana China, the Chinese bell. Fucking tremendous. You get rice and beans, a spare rib. Where are you going to get that? An egg roll? Where are you going to get that type of shit? You know what I'm saying?
In Silver Lake, they got the place that it's all Mexican dudes, and it's a sushi restaurant. They wear the fucking sushi outfits. They're Mexican, though.
It's amazing. There's no respect. No. Go to a Benihana. The host is Chinese. Everybody else is fucking Mexican. I went to listen, bro. I was in Paducah, Kentucky last weekend.
Oh, you get close to my hometown. Now.
Okay,
Yeah.
we ain't fucking around, right? Yeah. And I went to Hallahan's Japanese steakhouse. My wife goes, "Look, this is Japanese steakhouse. How bad could it be?" There was Buffalo Wild Wings and. It was all just
That's
concept.
Japanese. There's a Japanese Buffalo Wild
But
Wings.
this is all just like concept restaurants in this area. This is no shit about Paducah. We're walking, but my feet are sticky.
Oh, no.
Like, they haven't mopped. And I'm like, I said, fuck it, how bad can it be? I grew up in New York City. I've eaten at these places before. We sit down. Every waitress is pregnant. Every waitress was fucking pregnant. The two dudes, one dude was really Mexican, and the other dude was something else with 2 earrings and shit. Right?
That's Japanese in Kentucky, though.
Not one Japanese person was in his restaurant. But I saw something. Jerry Roach, a dear friend of ours, has a joke about doing comedy in Texarkana, and there was a magician in front of him, and there were cowboys, and the magician started doing magic, and the cowboys were like, "Stop it! That's the work of Satan!" You know, and all, "Stop it! Stop it! Stop!" You know, and it's a pretty funny thing. I saw it.
Yeah.
There was a guy with a cowboy hat, and the Mexican, you know how they take the egg and they throw it up in the air and it gets in their hat. The guy was like, "Do that again!" And I looked at my wife and I'm like, "Look at Jerry Roach's joke playing out right in front of us." It was fucking crazy. But I noticed that there was no Japanese people, but the people from
You're in
Paducah,
Kentucky. You didn't expect to see Japanese, did you?
at least one fucking half a Japanese. How about a half a Japanese? In New York, those Indians that own the casino, they don't fucking have feathers.
At least a
and bow
Chinese
arrows.
guy or something.
They look like me, the guys that have casino.
Yeah.
But they'll argue that they have 1/16 Indian.
Right.
So that's how they open up the fucking casino. There's no fucking guys that look like, you know, the guy from Outlaw Josie Wells, 10 Bears. Ain't nobody looking like 10 Bears and that shit. It's amazing. There's not a Japanese person left in a Benihana.
Right.
Nothing.
But what about Kentucky? Is there anyone? Is there any
No.
Asians in Kentucky at all?
I mean,
There's got to be,
A
right?
couple of, 10, 8.
It just depends. I mean, it depends on where. If you're in a place like Paducah, no. But if
Right,
you go to like
right.
Lexington, or you know, if you're
Louisville.
like, just or Louisville, or
Yeah.
just south of Cincinnati, and the river there, you think
Right.
there are pockets of Asians.
Yeah.
So,
Now, you're from Cincinnati? Rick?
yeah, Cincinnati.
Wow, what a fucking lucky man you are.
Why is that?
The big motherfucking red machine. That's as good as it gets. And you were too young and shit.
No, I was.
You were too young and shit.
No,
This country don't remember the big fucking red machine.
I was young, but I do remember it barely.
The excitement of the city.
But then all we had after that was our 91 Reds. They swept the A's, and that's it. And then we had the Bengals every year, and every year it's like, this is gonna be our year this year.
It's if you know, they made a movie a couple of years ago with Brad Pitt and the other kid Jonah Hill called Moneyball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was about these fucking computers. If you did your homework, Moneyball was the '73 Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
They didn't have no home run hitters. They had Eric Foster, I think. Everybody was hitting singles and stealing bases, dog, till you lost your mind. Like, if you watch classic baseball and you see Cincinnati Reds playing, stop it and watch 2 innings and watch what Cincinnati did. Sparky Anderson used to tell them, "Listen, guys, I don't care if we win or lose. Our job is to fucking make the pitcher break.
Yep.
Like, we're going to break him. Like, he's going to walk off the mound and go, I'm done. I never want to play baseball again. This is fucking absurd."
Like 9 and 10 pitch at bats, and
You know, like everybody steals, everybody fakes the steal, they bunting. It was so unorthodox, baseball. And you had like,
well, there wasn't a DH back then, was there?
well, they're the National League.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So it was like fucking, like they just had this lineup that was money. Like, I think Bench he always batted 4th, and Pete Rose was like 5th or 6th. Tony Perez was like 1st, and Joe Morgan.
What year? I'll pull it up.
73. It was a monstrous lineup. I mean, they ruled an iron hand for like 5 years. Like, just fucking beat bitches up. But for me, if I think of any sporting event that took me, it had to be Marquette against North Carolina in the finals in 1978 when they played knockout. That was a great basketball game because the guy was quitting. And it's got to be, my favorite events were fucking Cincinnati when they played the Boston Red Sox. That whole series, that's, if you fucking put a gun to my head or not, that's my favorite World Series of all time. That was just...
Are you allowed to say that?
What?
Being from New York, are you allowed to say that?
I don't give a fuck. I'm not,
You don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. I'm Cuban. Baseball is in our fucking soul. So in my house, my mom was a Red Sox fan.
Right.
And I was a Cincinnati Red fan. But I like the Red Sox too.
How is she a Red Sox fan?
She was a Met fan and a fucking Red Sox fan. I don't
Alright.
fucking know. I'm not going to sit there and argue with it. I didn't give a fuck. She was a Red Sox. So I knew if Cincinnati lost to the Reds, I would not stop getting tortured. Like, everything would be Boston Red Sox soup today. You know, Boston Red Sox shirts. You just torment me the whole fucking winter. So I got on my hands and knees. I'm like, Jesus, if you ever came through for me, you got to come fucking through now. This is it, because I'll never get a goddamn end of this shit.
You praying?
I had to pray.
You praying to Jesus?
To everybody. The fucking Buddha.
All three of them.
The Santeria priest. I fucking prayed to everybody because I couldn't. But that's my all-time favorite. That's what baseball should be. Everybody wanted home runs and stuff like that. And it wasn't that. It was what Sparky Anderson was doing those years. You know, Goldberg. Whenever I see Goldberg, that's all we talk about. When Sparky Anderson died, it was hysterical because I was on a plane with Rogan. I go, Rogan, did you give your condolences to Goldberg over Sparky Anderson? He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Who's Sparky Anderson? I go get the phone and text him. He goes, he's not going to text me back. Watch. Text him back right away.
That's what Cincinnati boy will do.
Cincinnati boy. He texts me, he goes, that's fucking amazing. I go, dog, you don't understand. To some people, that was my life watching that. And then I caught it 5 years ago in a hotel room. I just happened to catch a classic baseball, and I was fucking breathing heavy because I couldn't imagine being that pitcher. So the guy gets a single. That guy that gets a single, he's going to steal. Whether he makes it or not, it doesn't matter. They're just doing this to ruffle the pitcher.
Yeah, it has. It won't give me the order they were in, but catching was Johnny Bench.
First base was Tony Perez.
Yeah.
Second base was Joe Morgan.
Yeah.
The shortstop was Concepcion.
Yeah.
The third baseman was fucking
Menke.
No, fuck Pete Rose.
Pete Rose was playing left according to
They always had him mixed up.
Yeah,
That computer's wrong.
But he played like 4 or 5 positions.
Pete Rose played 4 or 5 positions.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
you have no fucking idea what this was.
Turn that computer off.
Darn that fuck! This was craziness.
Have you seen Pizza documentary 4192?
No.
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, then it's done. I'll watch it this weekend.
And he's funny.
I get
And,
goosebumps talking
yeah.
about that shit.
What do you think about him not being in the Hall of Fame? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, we know he's in the Hall of Fame, right?
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's the fucking guy at the door at the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But, before I get off that, when Bench got hurt, Plummer used to fucking back him. And Bench would play first base, and Tony Perez would shift. This was a crazy team.
Yeah.
This was a crazy fucking team. This was anybody could do anything, and you had to. You got to pitch. You got to pitch, dog. Get out there. Get out there. That was fucking baseball to me.
Right.
That was it. Menke. I forgot all about fucking Menke. I swear to God, that's the first time I heard that name.
Wow.
Fuck him. Yeah, it's that was real baseball. So after that guy, once Morgan got on, he was going to steal. Now you got one out and a guy on for second. That's it. Now comes the meat of the fucking rotation. You had like Concepcion, Bench, and like Perez or something. And that's it. And then Rose was lurking. So now forget it. By the time Rose went up, you're already 2-0. And you have one out and a guy on second still playing. Come on, I'm going to steal from you. And by this guy would turn and he'd balk. Then the guy would move one, and then there you go. And next thing you know, they go up. The rotation went up 2 times. This pitcher, when he goes in, you're fucking mesmerized. You can't take that shit.
Wow.
Didn't Johnny Bench get his own TV show, like a Saturday morning show?
I don't
Lee,
know.
anybody?
Find out.
Can you look that up?
Look that up.
I feel
Johnny
like he
Bench
did.
got something.
I think it was after he went to San Diego, though. I think the San Diego mascot was involved. That's a bird, right? I don't follow sports for shit.
Well, you better get it together.
Yeah, well, that's why I got Lee. Look that shit up.
Called the
Lee.
Baseball Bunch from 92 to 85.
Kaboom!
All
It's
right.
all right. He's got Google, so he's good.
82
You don't have to follow
sorry.
sports if you have
Turns
Google.
out I do need Lee.
So when did you retire?
Technically, I haven't.
Never said
Yeah,
nothing.
I have 1 fight left on my contract,
Okay.
and but I'm working for ONE FC over in Asia. It's another fight organization, good fight organization, and I still have a fight left with UFC. If I fight, I'm contracted by the UFC to fight with UFC, but otherwise I'm working as an executive with ONE FC for now. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming future.
It's good to have you here, man. You look
good
good.
to be here.
I fucking had that call.
We're talking Cincinnati Reds. Like, how,
Dog!
I didn't even know that was going to happen.
Couldn't
you
plan
know?
No,
that
that's
shit.
what a podcast is. That's what we do here, dog. This ain't, like I said, that was and so I always had a soft spot. I had an uncle who drove me down to Cincinnati, got me a windbreaker jacket with Rose on it, number 14, and that was it. I didn't take that motherfucker off.
So, do you happen to be a Bengals fan too?
No.
Oh.
No, I bet against the Bengals.
You
They
sound-
played the Niners. No.
You sound a little.
It's all randomly picked in the Diaz house.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
all the
no.
teams.
So, who's your football team then?
At that time, when I was growing up, I liked the Steelers. Wow. I liked Jack Lambert. And,
Like,
Jack, I know, it's anti-Cincinnati, but they're American. I'm Cuban. When I came here, that's all I wanted to be was an American. So yeah, the Minnesota Vikings were okay, but fuck them.
I thought you were going to say Cowboys.
Fuck
yeah,
Frank Thompson.
Cowboys is American.
Well,
as a
here's the
kid.
problem. Here's the problem. All right, you're talking about when I was 10 in comparison to when I got older.
Okay.
When I was 10, I just loved the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And then he woke up, and then
Then I woke up, and once I saw the Dallas Cowboys work their motherfucking magic.
he's a bandwagon fan. He's a bandwagon fan.
I like that.
I like these teams.
You
that
like
are
Tom
dynasty.
Landry?
In the 70s, I liked the Steelers. In the 90s, I was more. In the 80s, I was a 49ers fan.
I always liked
I
like
was a
Pittsburgh
Broncos
because
fan.
I always liked Pittsburgh because they always had the lowest payroll in football. I liked them because of that. It's a blue collar football team.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I went to offense, defense football camp, and it was Jack Ham and Jack Lambert's football camp. And to me, I was fucking blown away when I saw Jack Lambert hit. The shit he used to do was just amazing, you know. And I always liked look, the thing I liked about Cincinnati was there was always a fucking snowstorm. And that's what I'm talking about, baby. Oh, that's football.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fucking football. That shit with the sun out and the blue and the airplanes going over and people saluting the flag. Fuck you. Get out there, get some fucking mud and some ice cocksuckers. Listen, I still remember when the Niners played against Cincinnati that year, like when Joe Montana and all that.
Oh yeah.
They were playing when Kenny Anderson was the quarterback.
No, that was Boomer Esiason.
No,
In the
83.
Oh, I thought you were talking the Super Bowl game.
No, I'm talking about the early. That's when That's when I started discovering the Cincinnati Bengals with Collingsworth and that whole team. Ken Anderson, I think, was the quarterback or whatever.
Yep.
Dog, every time you watch Cincinnati, there was a snowstorm, or they were blowing fucking steam out of their mouths, or people were shaking.
It's like Wisconsin, like the Green Bay Packers.
It was always like that. You know, and it was so weird how at that time, that's who CBS was putting on. I was putting on Cleveland or Cincinnati, and you know, then you switch to the NFC game, which was the Niners. Everybody always, you know, after like mid-season, they always just try to show you the teams that they're pushing, you know, to get ratings and shit. It's amazing. So, but no, it wasn't that I was a bandwagon guy. I just never liked the fucking Giants. I liked Lawrence Taylor as a football player, how he dragged people, how he tortured people. But I didn't like the Giants as a whole, you know. I liked and then I just stopped liking sports altogether. I was telling him I watched football this last week. It was on. And he goes, I can't believe you're watching. I go, I just need to scratch an itch. For 6 months, you need 10 minutes of a football game, and you go, all right, I'm good now for the fucking, whether it's preseason or not. You know?
So what, you're not into sports at all anymore?
Am I into sports at all? I can't name teams and coaches.
Right.
But if they
enjoy watching a game. You're like me. It's like you're busy and you don't have to, like, there was a time in my life where I sit down and watch like ESPN, like watch the game recaps, NFL Network. You watch the fast forward games. You're watching draft, all that stuff, man. The combines, like especially with football, because I grew up playing football my whole life, and I'm like I was on it all the time, like watching that stuff. And then you finally get to a point like where you don't have that time. You don't have the time to keep up. It's like It really is like sports is like a soap opera for a man.
Sure,
it's really especially now, like in social media, because like who's saying what on social media, who's getting traded to what team, what's going on. Like the big hype this year was like LeBron going back to Cleveland. And like people care about that as much as they care about actually watching them play.
Yeah, and
so you get caught up in all the minutia of all this stuff. You're like especially with baseball season. Like I've never been a big baseball fan because if you turn your TV off for 4 days, your team just went from first to last in their division, and you're like, how the hell did that happen?
It goes for like 10 months. It goes from February to October. It's way too long. But it's kind of the cool thing about fighting, because I was thinking about it like a week or so ago, that I love all the Boston teams because I'm from there, but it's kind of weird that it's just based on where you're from. Like, it would almost be more fun to like do what Joey did and pick a player so we liked. But with fighting, it's kind of like NASCAR, where like you could have families against each other. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what changed. Like when the sports went to free agency. I remember being a kid. I grew up as a Skins fan as a kid. My dad, same thing. My dad bought me like at a garage sale. I got a little Redskins windbreaker, and so I had this thing in growing up. And prior to that, like I watched the Redskins all up until probably like the late '80s, early '90s when they won. I think they won their Super Bowl in '91. But prior to that, the NFL had gone to free agency. And so one season you're watching your team, and it's the same players on the same team year
Right.
after year after year, and then
Reagan.
all of a sudden, yeah,
Theismann.
exactly. They had the whole posse, and then their set of linemen and all that stuff.
What was
and
the
then,
name of those guys? The Hogs.
The Hogs.
Yeah, the Hogs.
And the Hogettes.
Fucking
Yeah.
tremendous.
But then all of a sudden, like next season, like 6 key players are on different teams, and you're like, what? And I'm a kid from Cincinnati. You follow like players, you
Right.
follow stories, So, yeah. So I don't.
So were you watching live when Theismann got his leg cracked?
I was
Me
actually
too.
I was.
by his guy
Me too.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I think I stopped. I watched sports till maybe a year after high. And this will really happen. A year after high school, the year that John Riggins beat up the Killer Bees.
Yeah.
Remember that? He just fucked
John
them up.
Riggins is badass.
John Riggins is badass. I had a roommate named Fernie Bassasudo that we grew up together. We played. He was a big-time football player, but he couldn't go to college because he was just blind.
Yep.
He played an offensive guard, and he was just blind. And I had moved back to Jersey, and he goes, "You want to live with me in my basement?" We fixed it up, and he came to me one day, and he's like, "Hey, man, you guys are always talking about this gambling shit. How do you gamble?" And I explained to him, and one of our friends' dad was a bookie. I go, "Just call Pelican's father, and he'll hook you up."